Pecco Bagnaia, the myth, the champion, the hunted. Let's talk. We've seen Marc Marquez get hated when he wasn't winning. Those years on the struggling Honda, where every crash, every mistake, every injury brought out critics like vultures. And there were people, an equal number, who didn't want him to win even before the lights went out. Now, I see the same thing happening to Pecco, and it hurts. This is a down-to-earth, humble guy, a champion who earned it with sweat, silence, and skill. And the hate we're showing him, online, in comments, in conversations, it's the kind of pressure that can collapse a rider's confidence from the inside. I wanted to say this for a long time. I held it back because I wasn't sure if my thoughts were valid. But now, I have to put it out. Right here, right now. The Ducati dynasty and the shift in power. It all changed the day Marc Marquez walked into the factory garage. No more what-ifs, no more speculation. The GOAT was no longer a rival from the other side of the paddock. He was now inside the house, at the table, with the same equipment, the same box, the same data, and suddenly, Pecco's world changed. From #1 status to internal war, from lead us to catch up, from the man everyone followed to the man asked to follow. When Davide Tardozzi says the general level has risen more than Pecco Bagnaia has improved, that's not feedback, that's a grenade. Ducati is politely telling their double world champion, you're not doing enough. Not against the field, not against Marc, not even against Alex Marquez on the year-old GP24. That stings. Worse, Pecco knows it. The box that used to roar, you hear it? No, because it's quiet. That red box used to roar with confidence, with victory, with champagne corks cracking like fireworks. Now, it's silent, no celebrations, no laughter, just anxiety, frustration, doubt. And the box next door? It's electric. Marquez's crew is buzzing. Laps come fast, data flows sharp, confidence grows. Every sprint win, every GP win, every time Marc crosses the line, even in P2, it's a moment, a statement. Pecco's garage watches it all, in silence. And for the first time in years, he isn't the reference. He's the reaction. The numbers don't lie. 6 rounds in, 1 win, the America's GP, the one Marc led until he crashed. No podiums in the last 2 races, a crash in Jerez, a DNF in Le Mans, and now 51 points behind Marc in the standings. But if you count from where he was before Jerez, Bagnaia returned from France 90 points adrift. 90. That's not a gap. That's a canyon. For a 2-time world champion, that's a psychological war. And here's the twist. Ducati isn't making this easy. They're not wrapping him in comfort. They're asking more, publicly. Pecco says the 2025 bike doesn't let him attack the front like before. He says it doesn't talk to him the way he needs. And Ducati says, we updated, adapt. Now ask yourself, is this Pecco failing or Marc elevating? Because there's one truth in racing. When greatness enters the room, it shifts the standard. Marc is doing things that shake the data sheets. He's reteaching the engineers what that red beast can really do. And that's not something Pecco or anyone can ignore. Pecco's problem isn't Marc. Let me say this, Marc Marquez isn't Pecco's problem. His name is not the threat. The threat is the shadow it casts. Pecco has always been methodical. He builds pace, lap by lap, session by session. He's a technical rider, a feel guy. He needs the bike to be an extension of his thought. Marc just rides. He doesn't wait. He forces the bike to submit. He rides like a boxer who dodges with his face, not his gloves. Violent, instinctive, divine. You can't compare the two. Different tools, different paths, same goal. But the reason people doubt Pecco isn't because of Marc. It's because of the badge on his chest. The VR46 burden. Here's the part no one likes to say out loud. He comes from the VR46 Academy. And for some, that's a problem. Not because he isn't good enough, but because in the hearts of certain Ducati loyalists, that yellow sun still feels like an outsider. Pecco walks into enemy territory every time he enters the garage, not because he's hated, but because the DNA feels foreign. He is, in their eyes, Valentino's legacy. And in Marc Marquez, they see revenge. Now add one more layer, the Honda loyalists. The ones who worshipped Marc for years and now hate everything that carries Val's shadow. They've turned that same energy toward Pecco. Not because of what he's done, but because of what he represents. The VR46 name, the soft-spoken champion, the one who rose with Valentino's blessings. And now, like it or not, he's caught in the crossfire of a rivalry he never even asked for. And that's not fair, but racing never is. Pecco versus the field. Here's what you need to remember. Pecco Bagnaia isn't being destroyed by the field. Fabio Quartararo can match him sometimes. Not always, and not even with a Ducati. Jorge Martin won a title, yes, but over a season where Pecco had to claw back, where strategies failed, and where Marc wasn't even in the title fight. Mir, Di Giannantonio, no chance. Only one man has consistently been able to trouble Pecco when he's at his peak, Marc. And even now, despite the pain, the crashes, the criticism, Pecco is still the guy Ducati relies on when things go south. That's not a theory, that's a fact. The reason Ducati is publicly pushing him? Because they still believe. What Ducati isn't saying but means. Ducati's message is simple. We updated. You didn't. But the subtext? Marc is pushing the ceiling. You're not even pushing the walls. They're seeing what Marc can do on the same machine. And they're telling Pecco, meet him there. Or step aside. That's ruthless. But that's MotoGP. Tardozzi says we are working hard to restore Pecco's confidence. And I believe him, because Pecco isn't broken. He's searching, and when he finds the answers, he will fight, harder than before. Because if there's one thing we know about Pecco Bagnaia, he doesn't run from the mountain, he climbs it. With scars, with silence. But he climbs. 6 down, many to go. We've done 6 rounds. There's a long season ahead. But the fight isn't on the timesheets. It's in the soul. Pecco Bagnaia has everything to prove, not because he hasn't already, but because this is war. Not just against Marquez, but against the whispers in his own garage. Against the silence that follows his crashes, against the celebration in the next box. This is where legends earn their second act. So don't write him off. Not yet. Final word. If you ask me, who can match Marc Marquez in this championship? I won't say Martin, I won't say Fabio, I won't say Alex Marquez, it's Pecco. Despite everything, he is the guy. When he's at his best, no one, and I mean no one, breaks like him. No one holds it wide like him. No one wins when he's in rhythm. Marc may eat others for breakfast, but Pecco, he's a dish that takes longer to cook. And if he finds his flavor again, this title is not over. We know the championship is probably long gone already, but if there's one thing that can spice it up, ignite it, give it bite again, it's Pecco returning to the front. That's the drama MotoGP needs. That's the rivalry this sport deserves. And before we close this chapter, let me be clear. I have never seen Marc Marquez hate anyone. Not once. Not a single rider. Valle? That's a different story. That's war with history. But hate? Marc doesn't live in that world. And Pecco? He's cut from the same cloth, never shown hate to anyone, always respectful, always calm. If you want to throw hate around, look at Luca Marini, and then tell me, why is he even here? But still, hating? Not recommended. That's not how this sport grows. That's not how legacies are built. So to the doubters, the haters, the voices saying Pecco is done, shut up, watch the track, and wait, because when Pecco strikes back, you'll feel it in your chest. He's not gone. He's just loading the next bullet.